Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm just going to give you guys my prediction for David Benavidez versus David Morrell. It's going to be a prediction slash breakdown type of video. I'm not going to try to stretch this video out. Just going to make it quick. But quickly looking at the tail of the tape, we can see that Benavidez is vastly more experienced in the pros, having 29 fights compared to Morrell's 11. Both are definitely in the prime. Benavidez at 28 years old and Morrell at 26. They're about the same height at 6'2" for Benavidez and 6'1" for Morrell. But the biggest difference is that Morrell does have a 4-inch reach advantage over Benavidez. And I do think that will be a factor in this fight. Now, I don't want to, like I said, talk about it too long, especially on Benavidez, just because he's a household name at this point, right? Most people know who he is and what he's good at and what he's capable of. I don't have to reiterate everything that we already know about Benavidez. He's the Mexican monster. He's a beast. Quick hands, long combinations, heavy-fisted, insane volume and pressure. Great boxing IQ. He's a very, very, very entertaining fighter. Morrell is a little bit more of a hidden gem. He's only had 11 pro fights, but he was an outstanding amateur. He's a great counter puncher, lots of tools in the toolbox, great footwork, good power, good jab, good IQ. For me, he ticks a lot of boxes, but obviously he is still inexperienced as a pro. Now, both struggled in their light heavyweight debut. Benavidez looked incredible in the first 8 rounds against Gvozdyk, but he did gas out and slow down, and his power just doesn't seem to carry in this division. Although I do believe his excuse for his hands being, broken or hurt for the fight. So I guess we'll see. Morrell against Hot Rod Kalashdzic, he was countered a lot. You know what I mean? He was countered a lot. He was impatient as hell. And to me, he failed to make adjustments. He thought he would just run over Hot Rod, get him out of there quick. But when that didn't happen, he didn't adjust. He just kept on throwing power shots, trying to get him out of there. He also slowed down a bit at the end. And again, his power, like Benavidez, just didn't look to translate at light heavyweight. So definitely going to be a good fight since, there are question marks for both of these fighters. Both had a bit of a lackluster debut in this division, and both genuinely don't like each other. So I really think this fight is a can't miss. Honestly, potentially fight of the year, to be honest. So who do I think will win? Well, just to kill the suspense, I'm just going to say I do think Morrell will beat Benavidez. Listen, guys, I think Benavidez is an amazing fighter. You know what I mean? He's one of my favorite to watch right now, but he does have some flaws in his game. He gets touched up and he does get outboxed. He's been getting away with it because y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but he's been getting away with these flaws because he's been fighting dudes who are a bit smaller than him. You know what I mean? Dudes who can't handle his overwhelming physical pressure. Obviously, I'm talking about, the likes of Plants and the likes of Andrade. These guys, in their fight, they boxed pretty well. They touched Benavidez up some, but when the fight was brought to them, they just couldn't endure. You know what I mean? Now, if we compare that to what we saw against someone who is his size or who's a bit bigger in Alexander Gvozdyk, Benavidez didn't look nearly as scary. He didn't look nearly as destructive. And I happen to think that Morrell is closer to Gvozdyk's size than he is to Plant or Andrade. Most of y'all must have seen, Benavidez and Morrell, in their face-offs, standing side by side or in front of each other. Bro, Morrell is massive. He's so big compared to Benavidez when he's not in camp. You know what I mean? He's huge. I think he'll be able to handle Benavidez's power better than, Plant or Andrade. You know what I mean? Another thing I just feel is that he is just in so much better of a position to fight Benavidez than anybody of Benny's recent opponents. If we're talking Gvozdyk, he's nearly 40 and he just came out of a 3-year retirement after getting stopped by better BF. Andrade, out of his prime and in the wrong division. He was just frustrated and he actually just wanted to fight somebody noteworthy. Plant, he wasn't in his prime. He was in his division, but he just got stopped by Canelo 2 fights prior. So you're not the same fighter when you're on the come up and you're undefeated and you think nobody can touch you. You know what I mean? Morrell is all of that. He's in the same division. He's in his prime. He's undefeated. He's been calling out Benavidez for, I don't know, 2 years now. He's been wanting that smoke forever. He wants this, and I don't think it was all talk. I think he really thinks he can expose whatever he sees in Benavidez. So there's that. But seriously, the biggest reason as to why I think Morrell beats Benavidez is because Benavidez is just fundamentally flawed, guys. He's very athletic, and he's big and he's durable, and his gas tank is great, and he gets away with a lot of flaws. He's kind of like, Pacquiao makes a lot of fundamental mistakes, but he gets away with it because of his power, because of everything. He's just a freak of nature. Benavidez is something like that, right? But for Benavidez, his footwork isn't the best. There's so many instances where he squares up. I'm thinking this is because he has so much confidence in his punch resistance, in his chin, and his durability, that he does this to be more offensively minded. But in doing this, he turns himself into a bigger target, and of course, he loses balance. You know what I mean? Now, someone like Morrell, who is super sharp and quick, and is a very good counterpuncher, if he catches Benavidez out of position, he could knock him down. He could hurt him. It's hard to see Benavidez getting hurt like that, especially for someone who only has 11 pro fights. But I'm telling y'all, I can really see this happening. Morrell, is a good counter puncher, and he has power. So if Benavidez, throws his long-winded combinations, well, if Morrell sneaks one in there when he's uncovered, that's gonna be a problem. Another thing, Morrell's jab. This guy is a very educated fighter, guys. He knows his strengths against Benavidez, and with his footwork and his good jab and his good defense, it's gonna be tough for Benny to pin him down and go to work. You know what I mean? I can really see Morrell keeping Benavidez at the end of his punches and circling out all night. I can see that happening, y'all. Now, I know Morrell ain't no perfect boxer either. There are opportunities to counter him, as we saw in the Hot Rod fight. Hot Rod countered him a bunch in his last fight. So if Benny catches him with a monster overhand, well, that could be the turning point. You know what I mean? Just like how, Benavidez caught Plant and how he caught Andrade. Both of them were doing real good until they got caught. After they got caught, it was basically over. Benavidez turned up. He got Andrade out of there. He almost had Plant out of there. You know what I mean? Like, he just goes to town, and there's no stopping him once he gets the ball rolling. So if that happens, well then, RIP. He's gonna win. But for me, I think that Morrell doesn't get caught, or if he does, he's gonna be able to withstand the punches better than the other two did. Now, if Morrell's game plan doesn't work out, like the first one, I did see some weaknesses in his mid-fight adjustments in the last fight. You know what I mean? Like, when it wasn't going his way, he just failed to adjust. Like I already said this before, I believe. So he's definitely gonna need 2 or 3 backup plans for a monster like Benavidez, because Benavidez is definitely going to make the adjustment. He's got so much more fight experience, professional fight experience compared to Morrell. He will adjust. So, honestly, the ball is in Morrell's court on that one. Benavidez has seen a lot of styles. He's been boxing, it's well known that he's been boxing, what's his name? Triple G, when he was just a teenager, man. Like, this guy's been in there with them once, you know what I mean? So, Morrell got to make that adjustment for sure. Also, another thing, this could be an X factor. If Morrell just so happens to have a glass jaw, well, then we're going to see that in this fight. It's definitely going to be exposed in this fight. His chin, he hasn't been tested after all. So, but yeah, man, ultimately, I really think Morrell's size, athleticism, skills, IQ, footwork, and punch variation will be too much for Benavidez here. So really, it's either Morrell's skills will pay off, or Benavidez will and tenacity grinds Morrell down. Honestly, I can see it being like the fight with Plant, where Morrell will win, maybe 6 of the first 8 rounds, 5 or 6, somewhere there. But then Benavidez will catch him, or Morrell will slow down to end the fight, and Benavidez is going to end off really strong. It's going to be a really tight fight, but I think Morrell will just about nick the split decision, y'all. I think it could be a controversial fight as well, because I really do think this is going to be so close. It's going to be a nail biter. Either way, I don't think there will be a KO. I can see a knockdown from counters from either of them, but I can't see a knockout. But yeah, that's it for me. I know it's I'm definitely in the minority with this one. I know there's a lot of Benavidez fans, and for good reason, man. This guy's great. He's a great fighter, very entertaining, like I said. And he brings the pain, he brings the fight to his opponents. So I can definitely see him winning as well. But for my official pick, I'm going with Morrell. Yeah, like I said, I'm in a minority, so I'm not gonna have a lot of happy customers in my comment section. But y'all tell me why you disagree, or if you do agree, tell me why. Explain, elaborate some more. Maybe I'm missing some points here. But thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch these videos. I've been MIA for a while, but I'm trying to get the ball rolling again. I want to make more videos for y'all. It's 2025. It's time to get it started again. I got a lot of good fights I want to make predictions for and breakdowns for. So if y'all want to watch those, please subscribe, like, and yeah, comment down below what y'all think. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and just one more thing that I completely forgot to mention, but I've been thinking this for a few weeks now, because every time I see them together, I just see it. Morrell's head is so much bigger than Benavidez's head, man. He is just naturally a much bigger person, guys. Like, I don't know. To me, it's so simple. It's so obvious. He's just bigger. I really think, guys, listen, I really think Morrell got this, y'all. Put your money on Morrell. All right, peace.